My roommate, Kai, was the kind of person who loved to cozy up to guys. She often flirted with boys who already had girlfriends, her actions and gestures overly intimate. I advised her to keep her distance, but she simply brushed me off. What's wrong with me hanging out with guys? Boys aren't as petty as you girls. You're just jealous that I'm more popular with them, aren't you? Later, she used my photos to chat and confess her feelings to a man with bipolar disorder. One day, when I went to see a movie with my cousin, that man misunderstood, thinking I was cheating on him. He grabbed a knife and stabbed me to death. My killer, due to his mental illness, was acquitted and set free. Meanwhile, my roommate, Kai, was eating human blood-filled buns and started live streaming to make money. She declared that she had forgiven the man with bipolar disorder on my behalf and even slandered me, saying I was a promiscuous girl all along. Thanks to her live streams, she earned millions, but my mother, suffering from cyberbullying, had a heart attack and died in the middle of the street. When I opened my eyes again, I had been reborn. "Hey everyone, want to go hang out in the guys' dorm?" I heard a familiar voice. A sharp pain still lingered in my body as if I'd just been stabbed. I thought it was a hallucination before death, but I couldn't believe I'd truly been reborn. The person talking to me was the very perpetrator who had ruined my life in my previous existence. Kai. She loved hanging out with the boys in class, her favorite line being, "You girls overthink everything. I prefer guys, they're so straightforward." She often shared water bottles with guys, wore their jackets, and walked around with her arm around their shoulders. Many of these guys already had girlfriends. I advised her, "We're all in the same class. It's better to avoid misunderstandings. Your actions will only make their girlfriends upset and future interactions will be awkward." To my surprise, she took my sincere advice as jealousy. "Zyolin, aren't you incredibly jealous of me right now? Because boys like me more than they like you." Kai sneered, lifting her chin. "It's pointless to be jealous anyway. No guy would ever want to hang out with someone like you." Initially, I thought it was just a disagreement between roommates, but I never imagined she would hold such a deep grudge. She secretly took my art photos, used them to chat with a man with bipolar disorder, revealed all my private information, and even confessed her feelings to him, all in my name. The man with bipolar disorder tracked me down using the information. Coincidentally, my cousin came to visit me that day to see a movie. He misunderstood, thinking I was cheating, which triggered his illness. He grabbed a knife from a fruit stall and hacked me to death. He was released due to his mental illness. My father, who was away on a business trip at the time, was so heartbroken by the news of my death that he died in a car accident. My good roommate, Kai, began live streaming, eating human blood-filled buns. She claimed I was a two-timer who played with people's feelings. Her sarcastic yet witty words attracted nearly 1 million fans. She fully exploited the internet, doing live streams and selling products, earning millions of yuan every month. Not only that, she publicly exposed my home address. Many foolish netizens flocked to my house, throwing feces and leaving funeral wreaths. My mother, already devastated by the loss of my father and me, endured this malicious attack. She suffered a heart attack and passed away in the middle of the street. Thinking back on all these tragedies, everything began with my well-intentioned advice. This time, reborn once more, I decided I would never interfere in other people's affairs again. "Zyolin, everyone else is gone, it's just you now," Kai said irritably. The other 2 roommates had already agreed to go with her. Ah, I almost forgot. In my previous life, these 2 were Kai's loyal followers. They believed whatever she said and had no opinions of their own. "Kai, forget Zyolin. She doesn't even care about us, don't you know?" Vivian rolled her eyes so wide they almost popped out. Seeing Vivian's natural, clear makeup, a thought suddenly struck me. Could Vivian be trying to impress the class president, which is why she's still wearing makeup this late? "Oh, little Vivian, aren't your contact lenses uncomfortable when you're going out to play games at night? And you even put on false eyelashes." I feigned surprise and gasped. Vivian, caught off guard, lowered her head and mumbled, "No, you must be mistaken. My eyelashes are naturally long." Kai was extremely sensitive about makeup. She hated girls who wore heavy makeup, believing it was all for seducing men. Anyone in our room who dared to wear makeup would be mercilessly criticized by her. She immediately grabbed Vivian's chin, staring intently. "Aha, I see it now." Her expression changed instantly. With lightning speed, she tore off the false eyelashes Vivian had so carefully applied. Vivian screamed in pain. "Ow, Kai, what are you doing?" Kai retorted, "Why are you wearing makeup tonight? I already told you no makeup. Makeup is for seducing men. We hang out with guys as equals, respecting each other. You're breaking the rules." "Fine, you're not coming tonight. Mia and I will go." I almost burst out laughing. Vivian putting on false eyelashes and makeup is for seducing men, but Kai, who runs to the guys' dorm every day and lies intimately on their beds, isn't seducing men? What a double standard. Kai ignored Vivian's sputtering explanations and dragged Mia away. Vivian was utterly devastated. All her meticulously applied makeup and preparations were wasted. She turned to look at me, her eyes filled with hatred, as if she wanted to devour me whole. "Xiaolin, this is all your fault for being a busybody. You clearly knew Kai dislikes makeup, so why did you have to bring up my situation?" Before Vivian could finish, I interjected. "Have you ever considered why she doesn't let you wear makeup? It's because she's afraid you'll steal her thunder." I smiled faintly and continued. "Haven't you noticed how much she's been targeting you lately? Everything you do, she has to contradict." Vivian pondered, and indeed it was true. Lately, Kai had been constantly picking on her. Just the other day, Vivian had waited in line to buy dumplings from the cafeteria, and Kai had complained they were too salty, taking one bite and throwing the whole box away. The more Vivian thought about it, the more unsettled she felt. I continued to fan the flames. "Vivian, did you tell Kai that you like the class president? Is that when she started targeting you?" Vivian's face flushed crimson. "How did you know I like the class president? But what does me liking him have to do with Kai targeting me?" "Vivian, you're too naive. Haven't you noticed that Kai also likes the class president? Every day she runs over to his dorm, if she's not lying on someone else's bed, she's on his. And she always wants to share a water bottle with him. Do you really think she just wants to be bros with the class president? You've been fooled." Hearing me, Vivian was overcome with rage. "I considered her my best sister, I told her everything, and she treated me like this?" I had successfully driven a wedge between them. I quietly returned to my seat and continued reading. An hour later, Kai and Mia returned. They were enthusiastically discussing the game they had just played, completely oblivious to Vivian's dagger-like gaze. "Kai, you liar!" Vivian acted so fast that before I could even react, she had raised her hand and delivered a powerful slap. Smack, the entire room fell silent. Kai froze for a few seconds, unable to believe that Vivian, whom she had always easily controlled, dared to hit her. Kai's face turned pale, then crimson with rage. She grabbed Vivian's hair, tugged hard, and then raked her nails across Vivian's face. In an instant, Vivian's fair face was covered in scratches, blood oozing out, a truly frightening sight. "I liked Ethan first. You knew that. Why would you still do this? I considered you my best friend." Kai scoffed. "You, worthy of Ethan's affection? Do you think Ethan would like a fake girl like you? As his best friend, it's my duty to clear out the trash around him." Mia, timid and terrified, ran off to call a teacher. I, however, remained seated, enjoying the show. The neighboring rooms also opened, people peering out. After all, a catfight with hair pulling always drew the most attention. 10 minutes later, the class president, Ethan, appeared. He was a tall, handsome senior said to come from a good family. Many girls in class secretly adored him. Seeing their crush arrive, many girls abandoned their gossiping, quickly dashed into their rooms to put on lipstick, then came back out. "What are you doing, girls? Why are you making so much noise and not sleeping so late at night?" Kai immediately let go, her expression shifting. She feigned a dizzy spell, spun around, and collapsed to the floor. "Vivian, what are you doing?" "I only said a few words. I told you not to go to the boys' dorm so late. Why did you have to get physical? Even if you're close with the boys in class, it's really not appropriate at this hour." I almost clapped for Kai. Her ability to twist black into white was truly masterful. After speaking, Kai subtly glanced at Mia. Mia, who had been cowering like a quail, immediately straightened her back and chimed in, "Exactly, exactly. You tell me, why did you put on such elaborate makeup tonight, insisting on going to the boys' dorm? Who exactly were you meeting over there?" Kai continued, "Vivian, I've said it before. When we interact with guys, we need to be modest, not overly enthusiastic. Girls must maintain their dignity to earn respect from boys. Especially in this fast-paced era, everything needs to be carefully considered before acting, or you'll regret it for life." Kai's righteous and eloquent words immediately won over many of the surrounding girls. In contrast, everyone's gaze at Vivian was now filled with contempt, finding her shameless. That Vivian, she always wears spaghetti straps and short shorts. Who is she trying to seduce? Right. In class, she always sits at the backmost tables. Isn't that just to be closer to the guys? Vivian now truly felt the weight of public opinion. But the suffering she was enduring at this moment was not even 1/10 of what I had experienced in my previous life. Back then, I was murdered by a mentally ill man, and my mother had to endure the cyberbullying alone. Kai, far from helping, added fuel to the fire, often calling and threatening my mother late at night, exacerbating her heart condition. She deserved to die 1,000 deaths, and even that wouldn't be enough. But this was just the beginning. Ethan, the class president, couldn't take it anymore. Rubbing his forehead, he said, "All right, everyone outside, go to sleep." The gossiping girls around us immediately dispersed, returning to their rooms. As for you two, each write a 5,000-word self-reflection and submit it by Monday morning. Ethan, fuming, stormed off. Immediately after, Vivian was so aggrieved that she didn't even wash her face, burrowing under her blanket and sobbing. Kai, however, secretly left the room. I was suspicious, wondering where she was going, so I grabbed a jacket and quietly followed her. On the first floor, I saw her quickly turn towards the back of the dorm building, where a small pavilion called Bayan Pavilion stood. This place was usually deserted. What was Kai planning to do here? My curiosity had overcome my fear. I slowly followed. The light in Bayan Pavilion was extremely dim, but I could still faintly make out someone standing inside. Seeing that person, Kai quickened her pace, ran up, and wrapped her arms around his waist. "Ethan, are you really making me write a 5,000-word self-reflection?" Oh my God, this was a huge scandal. I immediately transformed into a gossiping green tea *TCH. Ethan said, "Who even reads self-reflections? Of course, you don't have to write it. If you get tired writing, how will you have the energy for?" He didn't finish his sentence, but Kai smiled shyly, playfully punching his chest. She looked as gentle and bashful as a newlywed wife, a complete contrast to her usual big sister image. "Tell me, do you like me more, or do you prefer the options more?" Kai asked. I was speechless with shock. How could any man tolerate such a vibrant green pasture? "Of course, it's you," Kai sweetly replied. I stood watching for a while, getting 10 mosquito bites. The itching was unbearable, so I reluctantly returned to the dorm. Half an hour later, Kai returned to the room. The next day, when Kai wasn't in the room, Mia proactively started talking to me. "Sister Kai and Vivian had a fight. Should we help them reconcile?" I sneered inwardly. Mia came from a modest family, and Kai exploited this weakness, bribing her with money. Even a small benefit made Mia profusely grateful. In my previous life, Kai used a scholarship meant for disadvantaged students to entice Mia to livestream, falsely claiming that I bullied my roommates, abused my authority in the dorm, and even forced her to clean up after me. She was a false witness, brazenly lying. Even after my death, she continued to help Kai slander me. This truly was like stabbing someone and then twisting the knife in their heart. The painful memories flooded back, making me grit my teeth in hatred. But now was not the time to show my hand. I needed to endure a little longer. "How do you want to help?" I asked. "It's been a while since our room had a meal together. How about we go for hotpot tonight?" Mia's eyes lit up with excitement. I smiled faintly to myself. It was the same old trick. Of course, I couldn't refuse. "All right, you make the reservation. I'll let the others know." There was a similar evening in my previous life, which marked the beginning of a series of tragedies. It was supposed to be just a meal for our roommates, but Kai invited many more boys from our class. She sat squarely with the guys, drinking and chatting boisterously. As the alcohol took effect, she approached me, insistently trying to get me to drink with her. She said that if I just had one drink, all past conflicts would be forgotten and we'd be good friends again. I thought if Kai was offering me a way out, how could I refuse? After all, we still had to live together for 4 years, so I picked up the wine glass and drained it. The result, Kai had drugged my drink. I immediately felt my head spinning, and she pushed me towards a lecherous fat guy in our class. He took the opportunity to grope and exploit me, while Kai stood with the group of boys, observing coldly, saying I was a loose and shameless girl. From then on, my classmates began to shun me. When I was murdered by the mentally ill man, they even came forward as witnesses, saying I was indeed a promiscuous girl who partied too much. Some even more malicious people released a video from that day, showing me, red-faced, leaning on the fat guy's shoulder. Was that a way out? Clearly, it was malicious revenge. Sure enough, that night Kai brought a group of boys from our class to eat hotpot. That disgusting fat guy, Victor, was among them. The moment he walked in, his eyes immediately fixed on me. The surrounding boys joined in, pushing him into the seat next to me. Victor let out a few lewd chuckles, his oily face glistening, his entire body emitting an unpleasant odor that enveloped me. Kai laughed heartily, introducing, "This is my roommate, Zyolin. Zyolin, this is my good friend Victor. He's great at games, you can ask him to guide you." Victor glanced at me with his squinty eyes, flashing an ill-intentioned smile. "Little Zyolin, you can come over to my dorm and play. Inviting someone to your dorm right after meeting? How shameless." "All right, Victor, someone's eager to play with you." Another boy jeered. Hearing this, the whole group burst into malicious laughter. I felt nauseous but said nothing, just sat there observing their performance. Kai walked over to me, smiling. "Oh my, Zyolin, look how well you and brother Victor are getting along. How about a toast?" Hearing this, my classmates started cheering. "Drink, drink." Victor immediately poured a glass of wine, placed it in front of me, and then poured another for himself. "Little Zyolin, everyone here is witnessing this. We can't back down. Have a drink with me for old time's sake." In my previous life, I really couldn't refuse and fell into their trap. Kai pushed the wine glass towards me, her voice full of challenge. "Zyolin, you wouldn't disregard my feelings, would you? That would be too embarrassing." I smiled, picked up the wine glass, and said, "I'll drink, but first I want to drink a glass with you." After speaking, I pushed the wine glass back towards Kai. Kai looked at the glass, her expression changing, but she tried to remain calm. "Zyolin, I've had a cold lately and I'm on antibiotics. I really can't drink alcohol today." I said nothing, just held my wine glass and stared directly at her. Kai bit her lip, finally feigning reluctance. "Zyolin, if you insist I drink, then I guess I have no choice. Who told us we were best friends?" She picked up the wine glass, preparing to down it. But just then, Ethan, the class president, stepped forward and snatched the glass away. "Kai, you're on medication, you can't drink alcohol. Don't force others to drink like that. We're classmates and roommates, it's not right to do that." A blindly obedient male friend of Ethan's, along with those close to Kai, immediately chimed in. "Exactly, how could she do that? Women are such trouble." Vivian, seeing Ethan side with Kai, was so angry she gnashed her teeth. I smiled faintly, raising my tea glass. "Kai, I'm not forcing you to drink. If you're on medication, you can have tea instead of wine, can't you?" Kai saw me put down the wine glass, let out a sigh of relief, grabbed the tea glass, and drained it. After that, I also picked up my own wine glass and drank it all. Victor was stunned, thinking I would drink a toast with him, but I had unexpectedly drunk it all by myself. He still thought that as long as I drank alcohol, the result would be the same, so he confidently sat down and began gnawing voraciously on a pork hock. I continued to play on my phone, not touching the food on the table. Kai occasionally glanced at me, her eyes full of suspicion. She couldn't understand why I was still so sober. But not long after, she started to feel something was wrong. Her face turned a furious red like a pig's liver. Her lips were tightly pressed, and she clutched her stomach, looking very much in pain. She realized something was amiss, but it was too late. As soon as she stood up, she rushed away. The famous saying goes, "Never trust a fart when you have a stomachache." Kai was too confident in herself and forgot this crucial piece of advice. The hot pot on the table was still bubbling, white beef slices floating, the aroma of beef oil filling the room. Suddenly, a terrible stench spread throughout the entire space. Those who were eating immediately froze, everyone covering their noses and mouths. "Who just farted?" someone yelled. Very quickly, everyone's gaze fell on Kai, who was standing in the middle of the room. "Good heavens, is that smell coming from you? You didn't just soil yourself, did you? Don't you dare falsely accuse me." "I just stepped out to make a call." Kai tried to act calm, but her voice was slightly strained. A straightforward male student walked up and pressed his nose close to her to check. Immediately, Kai couldn't hold it anymore and vomited all the spicy beef and pickled vegetables she had just eaten onto the floor. "Oh my God, it is asterisk you, Kai. Are you having uncontrolled bowel movements? How disgusting." Kai tried to explain, but right at that moment, a loud, explosive sound rang out, accompanied by an atrocious smell. Her fart seemed to shatter the room. The boys who had just been defending her scattered in panic. The fastest to flee was none other than the class president, Ethan. He vanished from the restaurant in the blink of an eye. In the chaos, the owner's golden retriever, sensing the smell, ran over. Perhaps it thought food had arrived, so it began sniffing eagerly behind Kai. She shrieked, "Get away, you damned dog!" but the dog only grew more excited and refused to leave. The more she screamed, the more pressure built in Kai's abdomen and a series of farts erupted. I quietly took out my phone and recorded the entire incident. What a spectacular drama. The putrid smell rapidly spread through the room. No one could stand it anymore. Everyone ran outside. The owner noticed something amiss but was busy with customers, so he told his middle school son to check if the restroom was clogged. As the boy walked in, he saw Kai uncontrollably release another torrent. Frightened, he shrieked, "Sister, can you please stop? I'm scared." By this point, Kai had completely lost control. It was all because I had secretly put a powerful laxative, the kind used for colonoscopies, into her tea glass. As for the wine I drank, I had discreetly spat it all onto the ground beforehand. The stench spread at an alarming rate, permeating the entire hotpot restaurant with Kai's fecal odor. All the diners fled. The furious owner grabbed a broom and chased Kai out. She tried to ask for help, but no one cared. That night, a video appeared on the school's confession wall, Kai reeking at the hotpot restaurant. This video quickly went viral. Her new nickname, the horror of a university. The comments section was even more spectacular. "Oh my God, Jiangcheng has its own Florida man right here at a university. I was there, the smell was so awful I vomited food from 3 days ago." Kai disappeared all night, probably to find Ethan and cry. The next day, as soon as she returned to the dorm room, Kai stormed over to confront me. "Xiaolin, it was you, wasn't it? How could you be so vicious?" "Vicious? I only gave you a stomachache. What about you? You plan to let that fat guy exploit me and ruin my reputation. I'm just giving you a taste of your own medicine. Do you have any proof? If you do, show it. Otherwise, don't talk nonsense." As I spoke, I pinched my nose, pretending to smell something unpleasant. "If you have time, take more showers. Don't come here and make the place unsanitary." Kai had no proof, as the hotpot restaurant's private room had no cameras. Mia whispered, "Did you really do it? How could you?" I replied calmly, "Same old thing. If you have proof, go find a counselor or call the police. If not, then shut up." After saying that, I continued reading my book, pretending not to hear anything. Kai stomped her foot and dragged Mia out of the room. In the following days, the boys who had once been close to Kai all started to shun her. Even the class president, Ethan, who had helped her so much, no longer paid her any attention. She tried to go to the boys' dorm to play games but was flat out rejected. Unable to bear the cold shoulder, her temper became erratic. She spent all day in the room, ordering Mia around, telling her to do laundry or give her shoulder massages. In contrast, Vivian and Ethan grew increasingly close. They often met at the library, ate in the cafeteria, and even sat next to each other in class. This infuriated Kai. After class, as soon as she returned to the room, she shoved Vivian against the wall. "Vivian, stay away from the class president. Don't think your little tricks will make him like you. I'm telling you, that's not going to happen." But Vivian was no longer someone to be easily bullied. She retaliated with a slap straight across Kai's face. "Kai, you hypocrite. You can get intimate with boys, but I can't even go to the library with the class president. You really overstep your bounds. And do you know what the class president said about you? He said you're the most disgusting person he's ever met, and he never wants to see you again." After speaking, Vivian stood there proudly, like a victorious rooster, her back straight, an expression of ultimate triumph on her face. Kai still wanted to retaliate, but Vivian gave her no chance. Smack, smack, 2 more slaps landed squarely on Kai's face, leaving her dazed. Vivian slung her backpack over her shoulder and bravely walked out to meet the class president. Kai remained in the room, screaming in a furious tantrum for a while, then secretly called me out. A few days later, a girl from the neighboring room sent me a video. The video was posted on a live streaming platform, showing Kai sitting at a table, speaking humorously, her expressions exaggerated and sharp. I looked closely and realized this was a video series titled My Strange Roommate. In the video, Kai said, "I have a roommate, let's call her roommate A, she's really strange. She loves to buy clothes online but never wears underwear." Once I accidentally saw her discarded pants. Oh my God, they were full of horrifying white stains. I couldn't stand it and advised her, but she told me to mind my own business. After that, I dared not say anything more because I discovered she often secretly wore our clothes when no one else was in the room. I watched it repeatedly, unable to figure out who, roommate A, she was talking about. Below the video, many netizens were furiously scolding this roommate. "Oh my God, is this really a university student? No manners at all. Host, be careful. What if your roommate has a disease and it spreads to you? Many even sent gifts to Kai during the live stream. Viewers, who seemed to be suppressing emotions in their own lives, found a place to vent their anger, furiously unleashing all their frustrations in the comments section. Kai also had another video series called Roommate B, which was even stranger. He said, "Everyone, if someone sends me a Ferrari, I'll tell you about Roommate B right away." Soon enough, several people sent her virtual Ferraris. Kai, pleased, began to tell her story. This roommate is even weirder. She never flushes the toilet after using it. During winter break, she didn't go home and stayed in the dorm for a whole month without flushing the toilet even once. When we returned to the room and opened the toilet lid, guess what? It was piled high like a strawberry tower. We were so nauseated that we dared not stay in the dorm that day. My neighbor asked me, "Hey, is she talking about your room? She must be possessed," I replied to her. My neighbor added, "She said if she reaches 300,000 fans, she'll live stream and show everyone your room." Just like in my previous life, Kai had started down the path of social media content creation, aiming to make a fortune from it, but I wouldn't let her succeed. Her distortion of facts, slander, and defamation of others was a malignant tumor in society. Not only did she badmouth her roommates, Kai also ridiculed her classmates and teachers. She gave insulting nicknames to teachers, calling one Old Hunchback Devil and another White Ghost Lady, provoking much indignation. Some classmates, unable to bear it, went to argue with her, but Kai calmly replied, "Friend, I didn't mention anyone's name, so why are you taking it personally? I am a law-abiding citizen. If I don't name anyone, no one can sue me." Even the school couldn't find a way to deal with her, only able to gently advise her, even offering her a citywide Outstanding Student Award on the condition that she stopped criticizing teachers. After that, Kai no longer targeted teachers, but continued to attack her friends. Everyone was angry but dared not say anything. As Kai's reputation grew, her relationship with the class president, Ethan, also mended. He even invited Kai to his dorm to play games. The boys who had once mocked Kai also changed their attitudes, now calling her Sister Kai of a university. Vivian, once again neglected by the class president, was furious. "Didn't you promise to go see a movie with me tonight?" Ethan replied coldly, "Vivian, I've done a few things lately that caused you to misunderstand. I apologize. From now on, we should just be normal friends." Kai didn't let Vivian say another word, pulling Ethan away to play games. Vivian gnashed her teeth in anger, returning to the dorm alone. That night, Kai started a live stream. I watched for a while and noticed she had started selling products. It seemed she was making a good amount of money. In the live stream room, I spotted an account with a familiar profile picture. When I clicked on it, I immediately recognized him. It was Mark, the man with bipolar disorder who had killed me in my previous life. He was leaving extremely aggressive comments. "Roommates like this deserve to be killed. They should be thrown into the river for the fish to eat." I sneered inwardly. It seemed I didn't need to go looking for him, he had appeared himself. I immediately created a fake account, using a profile picture identical to Kai's, and sent him a friend request. Before long, he accepted. In the following days, I continued to chat with him under Kai's name. I painstakingly built the image of a gentle, considerate, and understanding woman in his eyes. Sure enough, he responded enthusiastically to this tactic, staying up late every day to chat with me. Meanwhile, Kai's fan count continued to grow, soon reaching 300,000. She announced she would fulfill her promise to livestream directly from the dorm, showing everyone her strange roommates. That day, as I returned to the dorm and was about to enter our room, I heard Kai and Mia arguing. "I don't want to do this. What will our classmates think of me later? How will I live at school?" Mia protested. Kai sweet-talked her. "It's just acting like in a movie. You just need to pretend not to wear underwear and change into the clothes you bought online. Don't worry, I'll split half of the donation money with you." Mia hesitated. "Can I have 60% and you take 40%? Sure enough, it was all fake. Now she was even dragging others into her scheme to stage a show. But I didn't believe Kai would actually share the money with Mia, because in Kai's eyes, Mia was just a worthless underling. I had thought she would wait a few days before live streaming, but to my surprise, Kai secretly went live that very night. Vivian had a history of sleepwalking, especially after psychological stress. That night, when Vivian sleepwalked, Kai turned on her live stream, recording the entire scene of her roommate sleepwalking. She followed Vivian, making all sorts of silly gestures for the camera to entertain her viewers. Thanks to this, she became famous once again, her livestream hitting #1 on the platform's rankings. Vivian later discovered she had been secretly filmed and demanded Kai delete the video and publicly apologize. But Kai refused, saying, "It was just a joke, don't be so petty. Besides, the clothes you were wearing weren't revealing at all, why make such a big deal out of it?" Even the class president, Ethan, shared Kai's video, leaving a comment, "Kai was just joking, don't be so narrow-minded, Vivian." Vivian realized no one was willing to help her. She had no choice but to swallow her anger. Very soon, when Kai started her livestream, Mia had already bought a pile of clothes online to coordinate with her. When the livestream began, over 200,000 people joined. Mia was truly reckless, doing exactly as Kai instructed, not wearing underwear and changing clothes right in front of the camera. Kai didn't even cover Mia's face, making her easily recognizable. Immediately, Mia's personal information was dug up, from her full name, class, and age, to even her phone number. The comments section was full of disgusting remarks like, "Right up my alley, I love this kind of content." Kai's livestream reached the highest temperature on the platform, topping the charts. She had made another huge sum of money. But immediately after, Mia realized she had become the target of cyberbullying. Screenshots from the livestream spread across the school's confession wall, accompanied by insults like, "Filthy girl, get out of our school. Our school doesn't welcome shameless people like you." Mia trembled as she confronted Kai. "Didn't you say you wouldn't show my face directly? Why did everyone recognize me?" Kai casually replied, "Oh, come on, don't worry about those little details. You're famous now, you can live stream and sell products to make money. Don't forget my generosity, okay?" Just then, Mia's phone rang. It was the counselor. "Mia, your scholarship for this year has been canceled. You must write a self-reflection for causing negative influence on the school." The phone slipped from Mia's hand, clattering to the floor. Kai sneered, "So what if you don't have a scholarship? You can live stream and make more money than a scholarship." Mia's phone rang again. This time it was her mother calling. "Mia, how could our family raise such a shameless child like you? Don't ever come home again. We're disowning you." Mia hung up, screamed, and ran out of the room. Kai merely chuckled coldly, utterly indifferent. A few days later, Mia dropped out of school. Perhaps her self-respect was too high, she couldn't endure the stares of her friends and teachers. As for me, I moved out of the dorm. After all, the subsequent events could very well implicate me, so it was best to avoid them beforehand. My neighbor regularly updated me. Now, Kai was truly a goddess at a university. The boys who had once been close to her were now all trying to woo her, because who wouldn't want a rich girlfriend? Some boys even broke up with their girlfriends to pursue Kai. Those girls were all in the same class. They gathered and confronted Kai, but Kai merely mocked and ridiculed them. In the end, those boys dragged their ex-girlfriends away. Not only that, another huge scandal was about to break. It turned out that the class president, Ethan, and another class president fought right in the cafeteria, all to win Kai's affection. The result was that the other class president suffered a humiliating defeat, and Kai publicly left with Ethan, as if this was their official declaration of love. That evening, I checked Kai's livestream account and saw that she had shifted her content. From mocking roommates, she now made videos on the theme of a day at home full-time to support my boyfriend studying for graduate school. It turned out Ethan had extended his graduation by another year and still hadn't passed his graduate entrance exams. Now, he seemed to have found a solid crutch, relying on Kai's fame and popularity to get by. Over the past few days, I hadn't continued chatting with Mark, the man with bipolar disorder. This made him anxious, and when he found out that Kai, my disguised persona, had a boyfriend, he started sending me threatening messages on WeChat, forcing me to break up with him, or he would make me pay. I deliberately provoked him with a few sarcastic remarks to incite his hatred. Then, I posted some photos of the apartment complex Kai was renting on my social media, intentionally making sure he would see them. I just had to sit back and wait. Before long, Kai was complaining on her livestream that she had recently been stalked by someone. This person followed her even to the supermarket, and she had a hard time getting away from him. She also seized the opportunity to boast that her boyfriend had recently started hitting the gym, and if they ever encountered the stalker again, her boyfriend would definitely punch his head off. I knew Mark, the man with bipolar disorder, had been completely provoked. Kai, at this point, was like a grasshopper in late autumn. She wouldn't be able to jump for much longer. Sure enough, not long after, news of a female streamer's death spread across social media. That streamer was Kai. I watched the video recording of the crime scene. Kai's boyfriend, Ethan, was also present, but when the assailant pulled out a knife, Ethan immediately froze, even wetting his pants in fear. In that moment of life and death, Ethan showed no concern for Kai's survival. He pushed her hand away and fled. Behind him, Kai was stabbed over a dozen times, dying on the spot. While stabbing her, the assailant repeatedly screamed, "That's for cheating, that's for cheating." Later, the assailant was confirmed to have a mental illness and was declared innocent and released. Kai's family stormed the school, creating a huge commotion, but the school only shirked responsibility and offered no solution. They then went to Ethan, cursing him as a heartless person who watched someone die without helping. But Ethan loudly retorted, "Kai was a shameless and promiscuous two-timer. Why did the killer only kill her and no one else? It's precisely because she wasn't decent." The boys who had once been close to Kai, led by the class president, also went online to condemn her. "Kai lived a loose life and often broke us up with our girlfriends." Within a few days, news spread everywhere that the female streamer was killed for being a two-timer. Public opinion unanimously cursed her, saying, "She deserved to die. Who told her to play with other people's feelings?"